with Garland and Calvin. I'm Calvin, he's Garland, and today we are back doing double duty again with our discussions of Queen Sugar, episode 5. I'm sorry, season 5, episode 9, in summertime to simply be, and also This Is Us, season 5, episode 13, brotherly love. Hey Garland, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm feeling great, Cal. I can't complain. I'm sorry, you have a new name today. Your name is Shadow. I'm doing well, Shadow. As you can see, I'm bleak, and yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing
We're
well.
not gonna we're not gonna share why I'm
Yeah,
shadow.
we don't have to share.
We're not gonna
It just
share
be
why
between
I'm shadow.
us.
I just want people to know that Garland is on some stuff. But that's okay because I think what Garland's upset about is that tomorrow we're having our music battle. And as you all know, I'm gonna dominate this music battle tomorrow. So I hope everybody can join. We'll be on tomorrow at 7:30. You just gonna keep on bringing out, bruh. You just going to keep on bringing out this belt that you've had for half of a year. You, the president's term isn't even as long as you've had that belt, man. You've been afraid to put it up, man.
Bro, we had to stop the steal first of all because it was a concerted effort to keep me from reclaiming the title. And now that I reclaim the title, I feel great in it, and I'm willing. I'm ready to put it back up. I've been ready for a couple of weeks. I just ain't been saying that. I just been letting you go ahead and do your thing, homeboy. So it's all good. It's all good, Shadow. It's all good. And
I cannot wait until
and
tomorrow
I'm,
evening. I get this belt back, and then I don't have to hear this mess from him anymore. So we hope you all join us. But in the meantime, why don't we get here since we got the double duty? Let's get started. I think we're getting
yeah,
started with This Is Us, right?
yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do This Is Us because that was a little bit meaty, and we can jump into
Okay.
Queen Sugar because it's a season finale. All right, this week's episode of This Is Us is entitled Brotherly Love. And so, as we ended last week's episode, Kevin had called Randall to ask him to be the best man in his wedding. And Randall says yes, but Kevin wants to talk because they've been having some issues. Most of them have been racially charged, so going back to their childhood. And so, also, the last time that they were together, they were at odds over the care for their mother. And so, Kevin offers to fly out to meet so they can sit down and bury the hatchet. And so, this episode, I like the flashbacks as well. I thought it was a very solid episode. This episode bounces back between two flashback moments. The first moment is when Jack takes Kevin and Randall to a taping of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I'm not sure if many people knew that Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was taped at the public television station in Pittsburgh. And it also goes back to when Randall visited Kevin in Los Angeles during spring break while Kevin was out there trying to get an acting job. And so the conversation back in the present day, it doesn't start off well with Kevin. He's being over rehearsed and underinformed with a simplistic apology that suggests he's more interested in forgiveness than accountability for his behavior. Now, Randall, on the other hand, he's able to call out his brother's shortcomings, but he's a little unclear on what he actually wants from their conversation, too. So much of what Kevin perceived as Randall's special treatment was actually just his own kind of painful othering. And so this episode is really like a joint character study of the two brothers who grew up in the same household, yet came away with entirely different understandings of their childhoods. Now, when I think about this, Calvin, I related it to race in a sense of, someone seeing the prism of life through the paradigm of life through black eyes or the black experience versus someone who's seeing life through the white experience to that paradigm. you know um, what did you relate that to? Because it definitely you saw this kind of like this dual interpretation of what life was for them growing up.
So to me, it comes back to, and I think we've all, if you're black, you may have experienced it. And I'll just say if you're a minority, because I know women may have experienced it also. Trying to explain to someone um, the things that they may have said to offend you, even if it's unintentional. Just because it's unintentional doesn't mean that it doesn't bother you and it doesn't hurt. And as Randall even mentioned in there, some of the things you've done, I know you didn't do it intentionally, but it actually hurt me more because I wanted you to be more aware. And a lot of times people they don't grasp the microaggressions. They don't understand that maybe these jokes that I'm throwing at you where I think they're funny, you don't necessarily think they're funny because you're sick of hearing them. Maybe the way I treat other people, I can show this aggression because I feel like I have some sort of credit because in Kevin's case, I grew up with a black brother. So it's just it's the messages seem to be missing, you know. I'm explaining it to you here, but you're understanding it here. So then when I try to explain it here, you move up here. It's just the lack of communication. It's just hard to explain to other people how you've offended me, and all you think is I'm looking for an apology, and I'm not really looking for the apology. I'm looking for understanding, and I want you to be better and do better going forward, because just you I know you're sorry because I know you didn't mean it in the first place. But I need you to understand what you're doing so you don't do it again.
Yeah, definitely. It made me think. I'm gonna put this to a hip hop context. There's an artist. His name is Joey Badass, and he had a song entitled "Why You Don't Love Me." And in the song, he's talking about how, I'm just like you. We have a lot of the shared experiences, but, you know, how come you hate me? How come you dislike me? And it made me think of this situation between Kevin and Randall. It's like, okay, we're brothers. We were raised in love. We were raised in this household, but it's almost like you just had some underlying hate. It was there, always bubbling under the surface, but you try to pass it off as normalized behavior. And so, yeah, definitely just saw that in what Randall was dealing with. It's like, hey, you no, you don't think it's happening, but from my experience, how I'm feeling it, even when they were little kids and they're at the taping and they're sitting down and he's like, I want Randall seat. And all these things,
Hmm.
Kevin has always had this jealousy uh, towards Randall. And so, yeah, it's definitely, something that they dig into this episode. And so I was kind of glad that we didn't go back between, Kate and all the other people, that we just basically dealt with them too, which I thought was a smart way to address this episode. Because if they were trying to weave in these other stories into this, it would have fell flat for me. And so this episode walks a fine line when it comes to making Kevin's racist microaggressions brutal without losing his complex humanity in the process. And so, particularly, there's a scene where Kevin is rude to their cab driver. They're in the cab. This is during the spring break time. They're going to a club and they're riding in the cab, and the driver is black. And Kevin's is being very rude to the cab driver. And so they get into a fight, and the cab driver puts them out the cab and all that stuff. And then they lose the keys, or they thought they lost the keys to Kevin's apartment, but they eventually find them and they heading back to the apartment, which was crazy as well. And so on the way back to the apartment, Randall tries to get Kevin to see that his rudeness really came off as overtly racial. Just how you were treating the person is just not, as Kevin said, well, I treat all cab drivers this way, but in particular, this seemed very racist to Randall. But as he tried to press Kevin on it, he could tell there was some resistance, so he just dropped it. He let it go. He just let him off the hook in a sense. And so let me pose this to you, Calvin. Whose responsibility is it to help white people see that they're racist microaggressions? Is it our part to educate them of their racial blind spots?
First of all, can you see that my light just went out?
Yes.
You didn't see me go in the dark all of a sudden. I was like,
I
well,
know because I was
Garland will still
reading.
be on, but
You really
the power
shadowed the
still has to
day.
be on. But all of a sudden, it just everything just went out. I have no idea what happened and why that
Oh my
happened. But
god.
anyway,
But
um,
Tina mad.
just to answer your question, I'm sorry. What is the question again? Because the light went out on me.
It's almost and this, I guess, this dialogue between Kevin and Randall, kind of like this thing that we're dealing right now with, kind of helping white people see their white racist microaggressions or their blind spots, racial blind spots. You know, is it our responsibility? Because Randall, he kind of just was like, no, I just can't push it. When you saw that scene and you're thinking of Kevin's, microaggressions and his kind of like racial blind spots.
So it's so that's one of those issues that's really tricky. Only because nowadays we feel like we shouldn't have to explain this to you. You know, you have the internet, you have everything that's been going on, even prior to what happened with George Floyd and Tamir Rice and everyone. We have all these things that are going on that you should understand. TV shows
Sure.
have addressed it. But back then, you know, I think, and I don't want to say it's Randall's responsibility, but I think Randall should have expressed himself a little more. Don't give them a pass. And when you're pressing and you feeling an issue, don't hold it back in. He should have brought it out. Now, granted, if you've spent your whole life not doing it, it's not like it's going to be very easy to do it once you're in your college years. But at some point, you have to let them know this is how I feel. It doesn't mean that it's your responsibility to teach them how to treat you, but you can definitely tell them how to not treat you and the things not to say to you. And maybe that's what Randall should have focused on.
Yeah, Randall definitely struggles with that, and it's probably built on the guilt of being raised. Well, I don't want to call it guilt, but it's not a shame. But maybe it is guilt of being raised in a white family as a black child, and not really knowing his parents until later in life, and this go along to get along. I think one of the hardest conversations to have cross racially is to help someone see their blind spots, especially someone that you're close to. Of how subtle language, like take the instance of him coming out to see him during spring break, and he's quoting the Fresh Prince, and he wants the cab driver to put on rap music and all of these things, and it's like, okay, you may think this is making me feel comfortable, but it's really coming off very racial. It's coming off very microaggressive. It's really your blind spot. As your brother, you should know who I am. That you don't even have to go through this to make me feel comfortable. And I think Randall struggled with that to try to make him see that. And I think it's just a struggle for most people. It's like when you come into the office and everybody, the white guys like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Or
Always,
it's always, always,
always, always.
always. It reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit when Keeping It Real goes wrong, and he's like the black guy working at the white firm, and his boss says, "Way to go, you the man," and he just snaps and all. And a lot of times, I don't think people realize that, hey man, if you just normally talk, why you gotta switch up when I come in the room? You don't have to be down. We ain't got to be all like, "Hey, my brother," all that stuff. We can be, "Hello, hey, how you doing today?" And that's like that form of that racial blind spot that a lot of times people think they're trying to be accommodating when it's really not.
I had some years ago, I was manager of a pest control company, and I sent the guys out, and I had this sales lady come in, and I forgot what she was trying to sell the business, but whatever it was, I was listening to her until she said, "Oh yeah, and then if it works out with the company, then maybe you can call some of your homies to come." And also,
Right.
I literally was like,
Hmm.
and Garland. this was this was about 7 years ago, and I literally
Hmm.
was like, "Is she serious? Does she think this wants to make me do more business with her?" I was
Right.
like, so I completely shut down then. Like my homies, like
Right.
I'm first of all, I'm the manager of this company. You're coming in to try to sell me business, and you think that relates to me? Nah, nah.
Get a couple of your homies.
And I literally I could not believe she had said that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And so, yeah, I think that's, a big sticking point in this relationship between, Randall and Kevin. And so after being locked out the house and having to get a spare key from the neighbor to get back in, Randall, he starts to share with Kevin that he's been participating in this transracial support group, as we saw a couple of episodes ago, and a concept that was discussed in the group that is known as Ghost Kingdom. And basically, what Ghost Kingdom is where kids who are adopted by families that are not, of their racial background, they often imagine a world where, the people look like them. And so in Randall's Ghost Kingdom, his imagined fantasy world was that his parents were the black weatherman that came on the local TV news and the local librarian who allowed him to get extra books from the library because they were the only two black adults he consistently saw growing up. And also, he shares that this complicated feelings of love and guilt even caused him to include his adopted family in his daydreams as well. As a matter of fact, when the episode first started off and we had the little boy sitting at the table and the two, I was like, okay, are they about to introduce another character up in
That's
here?
that's what they do. It's what they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, so immediately I kind of got like, oh, hold up, what did they get ready to do now? It's another black person. It's another Randall a twin, and we ain't know it. And so I got scared for a minute, but I'm glad it was Randall. And so, when he shares this, this finally takes Kevin out of his defensive posture and it kicks off a trio of apologies. Kevin apologizes for not understanding Randall's experiences growing up. Randall apologizes for saying that Jack died ashamed of Kevin. And also, Kevin makes even more detailed amends for being actively racist in his sibling rivalry, basically saying for connecting Randall's blackness to the way he was treated within the family and then trying to take him down a notch because of it. He shared this, long dialogue where, it was not only because, it was the sibling thing, but hey, because I perceive because you were black, you were being treated better than me. And so, do you think Kevin is ready to do the work to make this relationship work? I know he says a lot and stuff, but Kevin's track history is not as strong.
I think Kevin wants to do the work, and I think Kevin thinks he's doing the work. But I also think Kevin is one of those mediocre white men that have just been getting away with the bare minimum because they're white. They're talented as far as their looks. Like even when his acting, they've and they've repeated it last night. They showed him several times. You're not that great of an actor. You're just kind of funny, and even
Right.
playing the Manny, it wasn't like he was doing any dramatic acting. He's pretty mediocre, so I think he's going to try, but I think for the sake of the story, they may not revisit it. And let me also say, I hope for the sake of the story, they don't revisit it because I don't know how everyone else feels. I'm starting to get tired of Randall's his storyline. We've met his dad, we've met his mom. We thought we dealt with his issues internally, and now they're coming back with the issues again. So the issue that we thought we were going to deal with Kevin really seemed to be more of an issue inside of Randall again. So the story is starting to drag out with Randall. So I'm hoping they don't do it again. Also, real quick, I need to let Tasha know and the DAs of New York know that Terry is right there doing weather in Pittsburgh because they've been looking for him trying to
right?
find out if Ghost had killed him or not. So Terry is doing weather in Pittsburgh. Y'all can go find him and exonerate Ghost and the rest of the crew from killing Terry. Hey, it looks like somebody said questions from the audience.
I
Somebody
did.
got a question? Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
said. I
did.
was just like,
I did.
what's going on here?
I
Just
did.
pop
I
it
did.
in. But yeah, go find Terry, exonerate Ghost. I mean, granted, I know Ghost dead now, but lock Tyreek. Do you see this, bruh? Do you see how my light keeps going up? My
Yeah, this is crazy. This is
Yeah,
Katina,
right.
please stop turning out his light. He's on. He's on right. We're broadcasting.
Listen, it's this BGE budget billing. They were like, so it's budget billing. So that means between the hours of 7
Right.
and 10, we just gonna keep cycling it through, bro.
Well,
I
that's
had to
why I'm
cut
doing
on
this
the other
by
one.
candlelight, and so
Yeah,
I understand.
that's
I
my that's
understand.
my that's my ring light keep going out. And FYI, everyone, I was having computer problems, so I had to switch computers anyway. So all this is just right in line. So anyway, I just cut on the desk lamp. So
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think we probably worked the storyline enough. So
yeah,
yeah, let's go ahead. There's only so much more that Randall can cry, and
yeah. I
so
mean, come on.
let's just go. Hey, I'm sorry for being a butt. I'm sorry for acting, kind of racist when I was trying to act like I wasn't, and let's move
Exactly.
on. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully this. But I thought it was a great episode, and I also think it's kind of robbery though that they're not coming back with another episode for 3 weeks
Oh my
to May
gosh.
11th.
Oh my
I'm I,
gosh.
I'm like, yo, what is going on with this? I said, May 11th. What?
And then when
I
they
don't know
come
if I
back,
want to come back.
they're only showing three episodes when they come back, and then they're going to go
Right.
to the next season. Like, I know it's a pandemic, but they should have just combined all these episodes into one. Now, granted, I remember a couple of the weeks. I think someone came down with COVID while they were filming, so of course they had to
Hmm.
shut down then. But yeah, it's starting to drag out, and I really like the show, so it's starting to
Yeah,
drag
it
out a little
is.
for
It
me.
is. It is. And so I'm like, okay, let's just. All right. Hopefully, I'll want to come back on May 11th, NBC. So we'll see. We'll see if All Things Black will be back because you're not
Now,
doing us any favors.
the with Calvin part will be back. I'll be watching it, but yeah,
But you won't be watching with this belt because the champion was still anyway. All right, let's stick to the show. Let's stick to the show. All right, so Queen Sugar. Let's go ahead and transition over to that. All right, so Queen Sugar in the summertime to Simply Be was the episode last night, and so Charlie, she's recovering from COVID, and with excellent care provided by our man, the king of the light skins, Davis. I was just looking at Davis last night. I'm like, man, I know I'm light, but Davis is killing the game on. He's taking it back to Christopher Williams days. He bringing light skin back. I know you dark skin brothers. Y'all had y'all little run, with Wesley Snipes and whatnot.
had,
But he had y'all
had,
had y'all run had because Davis is
had.
bringing light skin back. He's bringing
So,
light skin back.
so Davis is y'all king. Like that's
Yeah,
Davis
Davis
is
is
y'all
our
king.
king. Davis is
Because
our king,
because
and Charlie is our queen.
the women ain't swooning over Davis. They swoon over Ralph Angel, and he a tar baby. So I mean, what are you saying,
Yo,
bro?
right,
What are you
you
saying?
can you need subtitles to understand what Ralph Angel is saying. Sometimes too much
I mean,
chocolate is bad
you
for you.
can't you
The
can't
Rocky
have
King.
everything in one package. I mean, but goddamn.
So Davis, man, Davis been there. It's a Brock providing that extra care for Charlie. He ain't even try to, rub a little leg, sneak a little kiss. So he been cooking and cleaning and repairing windows and dropping all these little compliments and whatnot. He definitely been like stroking the beard. Looked like he extra Beijing the beard up just so he could be over there with Charlie. And so uh, comes out as they're sitting down eating that she has not shared with her family or colleagues that she was sick. due to the stigma of being positive. And so after it appears that she can care for herself and she's kind of fully recovered, Davis packs his bag and say, "Hey, look, with the coded language, if you need me, call me." He does. Call me. If you need me, call me. You promise? Let me put back on the glasses. Yeah, so because I can't read the paper with Papa. And so he said, "Call me if you need me." And so, bro, I mean, how much you want to put on this in the season finale? Davis and Charlie, they getting back together?
Well, I already told you. I saw it because I've seen the look plenty of times over the years, and she gave it to him last night. That she did. You see her step away and turn back around and look at him, like,
Mm,
damn,
right,
maybe,
right.
maybe he
Like,
are.
hold
I
up,
seen the look.
he looking a little
Listen,
different. Right,
Davis. When Davis left, because the ultimate move is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pack up my stuff. So when she come out the room, I'm gonna just be like, I got this set for you. I got this set, and then I'm gonna leave. So once you leave, then she gonna be like, damn. So
right.
okay, and listen. I'm telling you, Davis was in the phone. Davis NBA star with rings. He got on the phone. He was like, "Hey, yo, Steph. I ain't gonna be able to hang out with y'all this weekend because Charlie about to call me." He was like, "What you
Right.
mean, bro? You and Charlie back together?" I mean, it's not official, son, but I told you that's where I've been the past few days, and she about
It's
to
a little
call
something.
me, son. She about to call me.
Right.
So yeah.
Son. Yeah, it's a
Davis is
little
definitely
special.
back in. Davis is definitely back in.
Yeah,
Definitely back in.
Davis. Yeah, Davis is about to, be playing daddy again. Hopefully, he got all, the hoes out. No more hoes in the house. Hopefully, they got rid of all the little groupies, whatnot.
He
He not
he
not
probably
doing the
went home
Deshaun
and was
Watson.
like, yeah, he probably went home and was like, "Shorty, you gotta go." And when they
Right.
started calling him and texting him, he was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna be able to make it." As a matter of fact, this ain't working out for me. You
Right.
know.
Yeah, my wife want me back, yo.
Exactly. Get get back with my baby mother. So all this other
Right.
stuff, that shit cut off. That shit cut off.
I never told you I loved you. So anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna see what happens with my man Davis, because Davis, yeah, Davis, man, and he's smooth with it. Calvin, he like, yeah, nobody's strong like you. Oh yeah, I remember. I'm like,
Exact
yo,
son.
I know you
Davis
coming off of COVID. You can't see this, Charlie. You
Davis
can't
is
see this.
he, he's a three-time NBA champion. His motto is you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Davis is shooting them shots, bro.
No risk it, no biscuit. I understand. I understand.
Exactly.
All right, I understand. All right, so Nova, she's trying to lose some of her COVID weight and begins working out, but also she's starting to do a new investigation for her paper and website about a young man named Andre who was supposed to be going to college on a scholarship, and he was injured by the police in an accident. Well, not quite an accident, but he was arrested, and during the arrest or during the confrontation with the police, he was paralyzed. And she's decided she wants to write a story on Andre. And so as they're talking, Andre's like, "Yeah, I thought you was here because the cop that did it to me, his name is Calvin. Calvin likes him thick because he saw Calvin's name in her book." And so, man, Calvin, Calvin can't escape his past, man. First he had wifey. Wifey was throwing a whole bunch of salt in the game by how Calvin liked him chocolatey, and then you know COVID and whatnot, and now her man. He's kind of like a Derek Chauvin of St. Joe's, and so I mean, what we gonna do with this?
Bro, first of all, this had to be the biggest bomb on Queen Sugar ever. Like, we should have seen it coming, but I don't think anybody saw it coming. Like I was like, whoa. And the one thing that is consistent on television and movies when it comes to black shows is that white people never let the audience down by always letting us down. White people always let us down in these shows, so we should have seen it coming from Calvin. He had all of us fooled. I was caping for him last week, like Nova wrong. She don't care about nothing else. She should be worried about him cheating. And here Calvin out here, he like him thick, but he also clearly likes him paralyzed. What are you doing, Calvin?
I
What are
know.
you doing, bro? Oh my god. I mm, dude was like, I mean, I thought this is what you came here for, like, and she was like, what do you mean, like, do I remember him? It's the guy in your book, and she was like, what guy? The guy in your book, the guy that you thanked in the book, like, what in the world? Like, I just, bro. Hey, what's going on, Garland? We see you. You having some difficulties over there yourself? We can't hear you, but we can see you. We can see you, just can't hear you. So it looks like Garland's having a little bit of difficulties there. I guess today is just not a good. It's not a good evening for our technical difficulties. I've had some. He's had some. I went black because my power went out. He's gonna go out and come back in. All right. So anyway, back to Calvin and Nova and the dude that he. Oh, you know what? While Garland's gone, listen. I need y'all all to come in to the battle tomorrow at 7:30, and make sure y'all vote for me because I'm sick of Garland flaunting this daggone belt everywhere. It's my time. It is my time to shine. Hey, what's
Yo,
going on, Garland? We was
I'm
just
back.
talking about. We was just finishing up talking about Nova.
Okay, can you hear me? All right, you can
We
hear me
can.
now.
Yep.
All right, cool, 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 cool. All right, yeah. So, what were you saying about Nova? I'm sorry about that.
Oh, we was just talking. We was just talking about how Nova has been bamboozled, and now I'm starting to feel sorry for her.
Yeah, I don't know. If what kind of background check could you have done on Calvin? Because maybe he was a
He the,
member of the Gun Trace Task Force or something. Calvin
he
is
the
just,
police. That's the only background you need. That's the only. And we
yeah,
think Baltimore police are bad. From my understanding, New Orleans police is awful. I
right.
think there was a big corruption scandal. I want to say back in the late '90s with them that it went back 20 something years where there were a whole bunch of the officers arrested and charged. I heard it on a few podcasts, but yeah, New Orleans cops are
Yeah, well,
notoriously deadly.
the current commissioner is from New Orleans. He was the
Yes, yes,
commissioner in New
yes.
Orleans and all, and yeah, so definitely. But yeah, I want to see how this plays out next week because yeah, he just all right. You whiff one time, one time's got this pass, and so I don't know understand her feelings because I mean you dating a dude that was in the streets as a cop, arresting people and yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, Nola, maybe she's just a sucker for love, and it blinds her to making good decisions.
Yeah, but she's actually resisting. She's clearly fallen in love, but she's resisting committing to him for whatever reason, and maybe that's been a good thing.
Yeah, maybe, maybe, maybe. All right, now let's get to the meat of last night's episode, and it's our boy Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel. And so, although Ralph Angel and Darla, hey, they had decided not to send Blue to Sidwell Friends, um, the possibility is still there. And so Ralph Angel, he wants Blue to get the best opportunity to achieve his dreams, and he can't deny that sending Blue to this school could help him get there. And so he talks with several family members, Nova, Micah. He even talks to Aunt Vi, who all have differing opinions. And eventually, Darla and Ralph Angel decide they're going to talk to Blue about it and ask him what he would like to do. And so he shares with them that he wants to go to the school, but doesn't want his parents to be sad. You know, it's a great opportunity. So let's deal with the opinions, the different opinions that were shared. What did you think about the different opinions, especially Nova? Because it seemed like, well, I'll save that for later. But let's deal with the opinions first. What did you think about that? Because it's kind of like a range,
Well, if we let's just individually, we knew we expected it from Vi.
right?
Coming from Nova, and just as uh, Ralph Angel mentioned to her, you went to oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the school. Tulane. You went to Tulane,
Tulane.
which is
Mm-hmm.
a pretty strong school.
Right.
Nova's woke now. You know what I mean? Nova's
Right.
comes from this. She's so woke now that, oh yeah, I did, but you don't need this and that. And um, it there seems to be a divide because when he called Micah, Micah was like, yeah, but it gave me the opportunity. And like you said, it's not perfect, but having that on your resume and on your transcripts opens so many doors for you that normally wouldn't open them for you. People will look at you that probably wouldn't look at you before. Um, and I completely agree with Micah. It gave him the ability to have a choice. He chose the HBCU. He had a choice of any school he wanted. He chose the HBCU, where a lot of times kids are getting accepted into colleges and they have to go with what's probably the most economical, what's probably closest to home, things like
Sure.
that.
Sure.
Or they may only be able to choose between one or two schools. So I think you can see the lifestyles of the different opinions. You can see it's not like Nova's rich. Um, it's not like Vi's rich, but who comes from money? I mean, he comes from money, and
Right.
he
Micah.
clearly, yeah,
Hmm.
Micah comes from money, and he clearly has the opinion that this is great for Blue.
Yeah. It always just goes to, and I think we talked about this last week of this question of, are you selling out if you go to these type of institutions, and are these institutions just cherry picking our finest and our best? And that's always going to be the constant debate. Um, like you said, with Nova going to the predominantly white institution as Tulane, and then Micah being raised and going to the best schools when they were in Los Angeles, and then picking an HBCU. It's so funny because I've had this experience as a HBCU graduate, Hampton University stand up class of 1989. That I've we had people who transferred in from predominantly white institutions, and then we had people who had all the way up to college had been mostly in majority white schools, some of the best schools that you could go to, but then they chose a HBCU to go to. And so, yeah, you just had this dichotomy of thought. I think the thing that just with Vibe that concerns me is that you want to give the child the best education. And of course, you want to put them in a situation where there's love and support. And allowing Blue to have that experience is not going to damage him. It may make him better. It may give him a more diverse experience as opposed to what he's getting in St. Joe's. And so, I was just interested in that dichotomy of high range from, well, yeah, Mr. Charlie's ice ain't as cold as Leroy's ice or
Oh
whatever
yeah.
to, don't send them at all. And so, definitely a range of argument. And so, after they have this discussion with Blue, they decide, hey, we're going to plan a family Zoom meeting, and they let Blue announce that he will be attending Sidwell Friends. And so during the call, this was dirty. She gonna hit him on the text during the call, like, yeah, nigga, I want to talk to you after this goes down. And so, he had to get himself a little, couple little fingers of the little brown liquor, sit on outside, wait for that phone call, and they get into it, and basically, he tells her ultimately that you're not Blue's parent, and it's not up to you to make this decision. But she does him dirty, and she says, "Hey, your father would be ashamed of you. Your father would not be happy with you. You're just a little boy, and your father would be so disappointed." And I know I'm just going to jump out there. I think that was just really, really wrong. Knowing that this fractured relationship that Ralph Angel had with his father, and to see Ralph Angel come from where he was in that first season as a person to being a responsible, at home, married man raising his child, to say that, the figure that you looked up to would be disappointed with you was definitely a low blow.
Yeah, man. I first of all, Vi was completely out of pocket. Ralph Angel needed to check her, and the whole checking her, and we appreciate what you did, but you're not a parent was great. But I also love the check of you're not even a parent. Like you don't even
Right.
understand what this means. Um, you know, I think it sounds a lot like Vi resents the fact that Ralph Angel and Darla have gotten themselves together and were able to take Blue and raise them in the parent structure. Why Vi feels like she should have the ultimate say in Blue's life is beyond me, because you're not trying to support them, you're trying to run them. Um, and I don't understand what that means. Maybe she's taken this matriarch of the family somewhere where she shouldn't be going, because the patriarch of the family passed away. And you're really the aunt. Like you so when we write down on emergency contact forms at jobs, immediate family, like you're not really, you can be considered immediate family because of how close they are, but technically you're not immediate family. Like if there was a death in the family and we get off a week for immediate family, you don't technically qualify for that.
Right.
And I think she's trying to hold on to something that she doesn't need to hold on to. um it really, it was funny to me, and it kind of drove me crazy when she said, "I don't know why we feel like we got to adjust with them when they're stealing from us and this and that." Well, if you think they're stealing from us, the way we look, the way we dance, the way we talk, then why not have Blue go steal that education from them? If they're going to offer him a free education with resources that all these public schools that we know do not have, why
That's right.
not allow him to take that? Take those resources and put that name on that transcript so you can have everything. I mean, the Obama daughters went there. If it's good enough for Sasha and Malia, you don't think it's good enough for Blair, or you think you can do better than that? Like, come on, Vi. And then Vi wants to sit here and and say, she literally came out her mouth and say, "Yeah, we had a young lady like that, but she didn't go. And look at her now. She's about to be supervisor at the market. She's going to have a good life." Who wants to just have a good life when you can have a great life, when you can have all the advantages? Blue can also go to college, and if he wants to be a farmer, like he mentioned, he wants to be a farmer like his grandfather and his father, he can go to college and get an agriculture degree. He seems to like looking at the sky, looking at the stars and all that he was talking about. Along with an agriculture degree, he can get some
Right.
sort of degree in the sciences and
Hmm.
really help and be not only a farmer, but they have a sugarcane plant. Blue can go in there and literally run all of that, with
Right.
this type of education, because they will hand the business down to him. So if he wants to be a farmer, if he wants to come back, he can come back in a such a greater capacity. But
Right.
Vi almost has that crabs in a barrel mentality, where she doesn't want him to go out and get better, and maybe she feels like he's going to be like his other grandmother. I don't know. Now, Nova, although Nova didn't agree, Nova came back and was like, I'm proud of you.
Right.
Nova was more of the empowerment. You let
Correct.
this child empower where he wanted to go, and I'm proud of that. Good for him. Good for
Right.
him. But Vi
Right.
was way out of line. Vi should
Yeah.
have been smacked up for that.
Yeah. She definitely, look, Vi, if you love Blue and you are in support of him getting the best experiences that he can get in life, then you should be supportive of whatever his mother and father, decide to do with it. I know she could have been real dirty and said that, even Ralph Angel wasn't his real father, but, I'm glad she didn't go that far. But you just need to stand and let them deal with it. Let them set up the structure and let them see how it works. It's amazing. I think a lot of times, Calvin, of how, and I'm going to relate this to real life, of how many experiences have people had a chance to do, but they were killed by the doubts of family members that didn't want them to go because of their own fears. My wife told me a story of she wanted to go away to college, and she was raised by a single mother, and she got into a college that was still in the state of Maryland, was on Eastern Shore, Maryland, Eastern Shore, and she told her mom she wanted to go, and the mom was like, I don't know if I want you to go away or go that far. Now that's only like 3.5 hours, but it's no telling. Maybe that experience for her would have, maybe led her in a different life path to do other things or to meet other people. But because of the apprehension of the parent, we do it all the time. Like children want to travel, and we're like, well, where you going? Who you going with? I mean, I'm not sure about that. We should allow this exploration and this growth. And I think, a lot of this might be seated in, our fear of racism, not being able to protect our children and be there for them when they need it. But sometimes that fear can be incapacitating to them. And we kind of have to pull back and say, hey, I have to let them have this experience and not put my own fears or questions on their experience. And I think that's what we're seeing with Vi.
Exactly. And if let's imagine Blue still living with Vi. Like this wouldn't even be an option for Blue. Blue would never even have the option. And with the type of intelligence that he has,
Hmm.
she's literally not giving him a chance to be the best that he can be. She's just not doing it, and it's ridiculous. And it's a good thing that she's not the parent, and she's not the decision maker. I definitely want to see how she's going to get out of this. And when I say get out of this, I'm talking about get out of what she said to Ralph Angel, because that vitriol was harsh.
Right.
That those words cut. Like I mean, you know, yeah, she was just flat out wrong, and how she doesn't see that. And a lot of times people say, watch what you say before you say something you regret. Vi's too old to be saying things like that to Ralph Angel. She really, really stepped over the line. And she stepped over the line about his child. It ain't even her child. It's
Right.
his child.
Right.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
really want
yeah.
to
Even
see
if
what
you feel
happens.
that way, you have to let them work through that decision.
Exactly,
Typically,
exactly.
if you feel
So
that way. Any predictions for next week's season finale?
Um, Calvin is going to be canceled because that's what we call it now. Calvin's going to be
Mm-hmm.
canceled.
Calvin's gonna be canceled.
So I hate to say this, and I hope it doesn't come true, but with the way they're talking about the way they were doing the preview and how there's something towards the end, I think somebody's going to pass away.
Wow. Okay.
I think
Okay.
somebody's going to.
You want to go ahead and throw it out?
I don't know who. I have no idea who. I've been trying to think of who. It could be a secondary character like Prosper. I know you thought Prosper would get COVID, so it
Yeah, I
could
thought
be
Fox was
a
gonna get
secondary
COVID.
character like Prosper. Even even God, I done forgot. Even Davis could pass away. You know what I mean? Because he was around her with that COVID unprotected, so even he could pass away. But I think something's going to happen to someone, and someone's going to pass away. So I hope not, but we'll see. What you got? Any predictions for it?
Well, the obvious, Davis is going to tap. Davis is going to get back in and tap tap. With Charlie and whatnot. That Beijing and the light skinnedness. The king and queen of light skin. They're going to reconnect. Anytime you gotta call somebody like, girl. Let me ask your opinion. What you think about? Yeah, okay. And then I think that maybe they're not going to go ahead and go to DC. I think they're going to get cold feet at the last minute and turn around and come back home.
Well, they show in the
They
preview that
showed them
they're
in the car.
packing up to go.
They're
So you
packing
might
up.
be right. You might be
Yep.
right.
And
Um,
then it's something where Darla and Ralph Angel they looking at each other like something just happened. I think something gonna happen. Either they gonna go ahead and leave and change their mind. Maybe they get up there and something happens with the admission. But I don't think he's gonna go to school.
I hope that's not the case. Oh, someone asked, "Is this the final season?" It's not slated to be
No.
the final season, so hopefully it'll get renewed again. I'm sure it will. I'm sure one of the biggest draws on OWN,
Yeah.
so it's not slated to be
Yeah.
the final season.
Yeah.
But I listen. Let me tell you something. Blue needs to go to DC if for nothing else
Get a
to get
haircut.
that damn shape up, bruh. Like, god damn, what they doing down in that parish?
Blue,
That like
blue,
you
blue gonna
can't
be
come to
going to school
DC
with
and not
white
have a
people. He
shape
ain't
up.
gonna get no shape up. They gonna
He
love
gonna
that blue.
have to. He gonna have to. He gonna have to. Sasha and Malia gonna come back and they gonna be like, you can't be representing us like this. What's your name?
Right.
Blue. Okay, Blue. Let's get you the royal barber in here to shape your
Right.
hair up. Get
Right.
you the presidential barber. Ralph Angel even got to shape up. Ralph, look now. See, this is the only reason I think they need to take that boy away from Ralph Angel because I was about to call CPS. Ralph Angel got the tight little shape up, but Blue still don't have a shape up. Like, come on,
Yeah, yeah,
come
that's
on.
abuse. And so yeah, you never know. They might be like, we going over to Georgia Avenue. I know some Dominicans over there that's gonna line you up.
Hey, they gonna be mad when Blue come back singing that go go.
Right. Red, ready. He be talking that Joe language. What's up, Joe?
They gonna be like, where you going this weekend? I'm going to Oxon Hill. You know
Right.
how they say them, I'm going to Oxon Hill. However they talk down there.
Yeah, Blue gonna be talking about PG County and all this other stuff. All right. Blue ain't gonna want to come back home. Y'all keep on playing with Blue.
That's what's gonna happen. Blue
That's
going
what's gonna
Blue gonna
happen.
meet some little girl down there or something.
Right.
First, Blue gonna go down there and he gonna meet Malachi and Riley and Chance and all of them. He gonna meet them and he gonna be like, no, no, pops, I'm not coming home. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out with Reed.
Right.
And then a little later, they gonna be like, Blue, you coming home this summer? Blue gonna be like, nah, Joe. we Nah, Joe,
Nah, Joe.
me and little Lakeisha, we going down to the go go. We going to the
Right.
go go. We might even stop by Oxon Hill and go to the little brunch spot.
We
I'm
going
thinking
down
about going
there.
down to Baltimore, but them Bammers down in Baltimore be shooting like crazy, Joe. They gonna be like, Blue, what?
Right. Excuse me? Sir, Blue ain't gonna come back. Blue gonna be like, nah. Blue already gave up the dolls, so Blue might, Blue like, doll pops. Dolls are for little kids. I'm gonna leave this as a
Exactly.
collector,
Lead us
and
in
so Blue
lead us
already
in a
maturing.
box. Let me
Right.
lead us in the box. I'm waiting
Uh,
for him to be like, Pop, so you the only one that can get a shape up around this bitch? Like I can't. Why you don't ever take me? You don't have two seats in that
right.
truck? Like what the
Pops.
I can't
It's
get
called
no.
the barbershop. Pops, you go. Take me with you.
Like, dang. Hey, man.
All right,
So
man. Tell
that
the people
was
what's up.
somebody said, would you send your son 1,000 miles away if given a chance? it's
Um,
it's and let's take into consideration Blue's age, because it's
right,
different if you're talking about a teenager, but let's take into consideration Blue's age. He would be going into the fourth grade.
right,
It would definitely be difficult decision. I would want to say that I would think of what's best, and as long as he's going to stay with family, which his grandmother is clearly capable of taking care of him, I would say yes. I would venture to say yes. I would have to be in the situation, but what I wouldn't do is be like bye and just totally not consider it. Just totally not consider it.
right. Yeah, it would have to really be tight. Maybe, a Darla would have to go with him. My spouse would have to, somebody would have to go at least for that transitional period of time
Hmm.
to see how it worked. Maybe we would have to relocate and do it. But yeah, it would be tough, especially, sending him with a parent and seeing that they had this strained relationship. I think that's also tougher as well and
Yeah,
all. And so,
yeah.
but if it was a perfect situation of, hey, I know my parents going to raise them and take good care of them, watch out for them, I'm there for a period of time with that transition, then yeah, Sidwell friends, a lot of these people are going on to like run government. They're going to Ivy League school. Like I shared that my cousins went to Baltimore Friends, and they both went to Ivies after uh, after graduating from Friends. One went to Penn, the other went to Brown. One's a doctor and one's a lawyer. So
Yeah, it's the opportunities, and it's a
yeah,
full ride to a
right,
school that you would never be able to afford any other time. You know,
right,
uh, uh, yeah, I yeah,
yeah,
again, I it would definitely be a discussion. I just would not cancel it completely like Vi has done at the mention of it. I just wouldn't do that. Um,
definitely.
but anyway, I see Garland has his little fake belt because tomorrow at 7:30 we are battling Black movie soundtrack jams. So we want you all to come in at 7:30. We have some security measures going on because, as you know, we had somebody jump in and hack us last time, and it didn't stop anything, but they were saying some unsavory things, and we're going to have some safety measures, but I have that all on the pages and some people I've sent to personally. So if you do want to join in and you don't see the message, just either send me a DM, send me a text. Same thing with Garland. Just contact one of us and we'll send you the information. So we definitely want everyone to join us and vote for me because we want me to win. Because we are sick of seeing Garland. Why is he just sitting there like that? Why is he just sitting? That's right. I gotta think of my wrestling characters. Garland think he old Ric Flair or somebody there. Oh.
You know, as the initial champion of the music battles, you know, I, the belt is home where it belongs, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to keep it home. I'm the people's champ, and I want to give the people what they want, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I just want to let people know that your champ hears you. I'm with you. I'm from you. I'm part of the people, and this is our belt. This is our belt. This is not my belt. This is our belt. And so think about that tomorrow when you're listening to these 10 songs that I picked out. Think about, yeah, Garland is doing this for me. He's doing it for us. That's all I want to say. That's all I'm going to say. It's
Sounds like
shadow.
Donald Trump. Sounds like Donald Trump to me. Thinking about he unifying the people. He not unifying the people. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is All Things Black with Garland and Calvin. I'm Calvin. He's Garland. We will see you next week when we do this, but hopefully we will see you tomorrow when I win the belt. See you later, everyone.
It's our belt.
I'll see you tomorrow,
Defend it.
Garland.